I'll send you a baby picture where I'm in diapers and she's taking. Yeah, I'll send you.
You really want me to cue the photo? Is she gonna be okay with it?
Yeah, we're cute. We babies, we cute. But my literal day one, my sister. Coming out to my sister, and eventually we'll bring her on the show.
Welcome to Les Banter. We got a guest episode. What's happening, y'all?
Let's get it.
We're gonna do the intro, but first, let me do mine.
Oh yeah, she goes first. Ladies
Follow
first.
me if y'all don't already know. Follow me at Master Kayla. Big Master up in this thing, and my boy.
Champagne, all you love, baby. We out here. All the haters looking at me because they hate and they wish they were me. Okay. And anyways, dropping the IG right here. So show your boys some love. And as Kayla mentioned, we have a special guest today.
Are you going to give her a special intro?
Are we going to give her a special intro? Of course we're going to give her a
special intro. Of course you are. If not, I'm going to give it myself.
Sister. Okay. Hand over the mic to you. Please introduce yourself, your name, your pronouns, and what you identify as.
Yes, I go by Puvs or Pawan. If you want to be Indian, yes, I go by she, her, and I am straight. Not straight like a straw, but straight as this cup.
Straight until spaghetti gets in microwave. Is that what it is?
What?
I never heard that shit
before.
No.
You never heard that?
Straight till it gets to the microwave? That means you're not straight.
I'm straight like pasta until it gets to the microwave.
I've heard straight as a ruler. Straight as your eyebrows.
My eyebrows aren't straight. They curve a little
connected.
bit. You see that? Okay, first of all, I ain't no, is it Anthony Davis? I ain't no unibrow in this. If I was, it would look good. Let's be clear. Anyways, yes, y'all, this is my sister from another mister.
No, she was adopted. We had to get her.
We always talk about this. Nah. See, me and Harry look alike. We don't know where they picked her up from.
Okay, the story I tell everyone is we go to the same family to get you guys. That's okay.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Anyways, today's episode is very special because, as mentioned, we have my sister on here today. We're going to talk about some topics, and I'm going to have some questions for my sister. I actually never asked her before, surprisingly.
Oh, I can't believe I get to witness this time. Let's get it.
I just don't think we ever had it just never crossed my mind to ask these questions at the time. And so now that we have this platform, I'm like, this is the perfect time to put you on the spot and see if she's really an ally. Because, there'd be fake allies out here. Nikki K. Anyways, next. Mic drop.
Actually minding her own business.
for the first time ever in history. All right, so let's get into today's show. So first off, I wanted to kind of just hand the mic to you and talk about your overall experience with understanding my journey being queer, but also just your experience outside of my journey and anyone that you've either come in contact with, any situation you've been placed in, whether it's like personal or professional, and just understanding queerness and its entirety.
I guess the first time I really was exposed was when you came out. Well, we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it.
But when she came out, and didn't really think about it, honestly. I thought it was like a trend. I know we're going to go into like bisexuality, but like I was watching If Anybody Watched the Tyra Banks show. Don't want to age myself, but it was on there and it was like a trend. Like, oh, bisexual. Like it's a trend. And I was like, what? It's a trend. And then all the basketball girls were bisexual. That's how they identify
that
themselves.
part.
And so then I was like, oh, this really is a trend? Like, why? And then it's like bi-curious. All these words are thrown, but I didn't really get into it. Didn't know too much of it. As I got older, then I educated myself and learned more. And there's a lot more to learn, right? Like, I don't know the full perspective of it or how the aspect of like, because there's so many different parts to it, right? Mm-hmm. There's so many different flags now, right? Mm-hmm. So there's like a lot to learn for me in general, but that's the main like from you.
And all the basketball girls. Shout out to the gay basketball girls out there. Plus Kayla.
In the stack.
And all the straight girls Kayla be turning out. And
excuse me, that was not part of the freaking
Oh, this is not part of the script. We need to cut that out.
Hello? She keeps literally she keeps doing that with me. Always trying to expose me.
I am the guest on this show.
For real, it's not about me.
You're not a guest of honor, girl. You're my
me.
sister. You just a guest. Just kidding. So growing up, as you mentioned, you know, when I did come out bisexual to my sister.
God.
The bisexual is crazy.
I know. So you know,
she didn't come out to me. So how about you tell that part?
It. So the first person I ever came out to was actually one of her friends. I was so scared to tell her that I was bisexual. And
wait, sorry to cut you off. Her friend, as in her best friend?
Yeah, one of her good friends. Yeah, one of her good friends.
gosh.
Yeah, I came out to her, and
it wasn't to me directly.
I just couldn't. It was easier for me to speak to her best friend because I felt like we kind of formed our own relationship with her being around my sister and all that stuff, right? And so I kind of like, I think I was confiding to her and like, how do I tell my sister? And like, obviously she was one of my sister's good friends. So it's like, you know, she knows her a little bit better because growing up, me and my sister, we were close. And then I would say around like middle school, high school, we weren't as close.
We weren't. So what happened was my sister became popular.
What?
That's what happened. I was a nerd, quiet girl in the back. She joined the basketball girls crew. She had her own thing going. She knew everyone.
Okay, I've never heard before.
Not even, you know.
But she was popular as in like the people she would hang out with. Like they were all in basketball.
Yeah, it was
basketball
diverse.
girls and football people, and
It
like
was
everyone knew. I wasn't like that. You know, I was.
She was with the Punjabi people. Yeah, she really was.
I was in Seahawks.
She was in Little India.
If it still happens. You know what I mean? I was in India in my high school, and that's another experience that we don't need to talk about.
She really was. You walked by the hall.
I was, and then I saw her with all the girls like walking, and I'm just like, yeah, that's my sister.
Yeah.
So just coming out to her, like, I didn't know like how to really say to her because we weren't as close as we are, especially now. Like this is probably the closest we've ever been, like, you know, throughout our lifetimes. And when I came out to her, it was like, you want to talk about your reaction?
I mean,
she was like, "Are you sure?"
I was like, "Are you sure?"
And
because,
then,
like,
did you cry?
Again, I mean, a little bit.
Yeah, she cried. She cried, y'all.
Because I was just like, because honestly, it's a lot of pressure. So back in like what 05, 06, it wasn't talked about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like when she came out, like the first thing I thought, being in an Indian household, like I have to be the good one. That's a bad thing to say, but that's my initial thought. Like I was like, well then I have to make sure, like, how are they gonna react?
Right.
Or what are they gonna do? Like I have to make sure, like, you know, I wanted to protect her.
Yeah.
Like, how do I do that? So it was a lot. Like I did cry because I was just like, what now? What? And like, are you sure? Because it was a trend, and she came out as bi, you know. And
but did you have a hunch that like she wasn't really bi, or you like believed her for sure? Like, okay,
I had a hunch she wasn't, but I even had a hunch she was lesbian.
Oh,
Because even when she was a kid, she, you know, dressed up like a boy.
Right.
But like I didn't see anything that no one ever talked about. It was never something that, you know, nowadays it's out there, right? Everyone knows. But for me, like I didn't even know what that was. Like I didn't even look at her like, oh, why are you dressed like a boy, or why are you wearing a dress?
That's one thing I never asked you. Is like growing up, like legit, like we'll cue some pictures, but I literally look like a boy.
I wanted to ask.
It's
like,
very
cute,
but very cute. Like, you know, her pictures
Yeah.
from first grade and stuff. She has her little, you know, button up, her hair like flipped to the side.
But like, did it ever occur to you, like, why does my sister look like a boy? And like, you know, as kids, like we would take showers together in the bath. You know what I'm saying? Like all that stuff. So like, did it ever make you feel uncomfortable? Or
No, that's the thing. I never got
That's so
uncomfortable or anything. And then even like in 7th, 8th grade, you had that transition of the baby girl shirts. I had to find that shit.
I know, dude. I was,
you know, with the matching.
I was trying to look on Google. I said, what the fuck?
You know what? I would always take her clothes.
She would take my clothes.
Because I had no clothes.
Oh my
For prom, we got to post a prom picture of
Yes,
me.
please.
Her prom picture, she wore the
Please.
same dress as me.
I need
And her
that.
hair was to the side. It looked so good.
Send the
like a bad
archives.
She
bitch.
did look good. She did look good.
I look like a bad bitch. I was a nasty girl. Okay.
She
purr.
no, you
was
weren't
a
doing any of
baddie.
that. No, she was.
They
Just,
say purr now. They don't say occur now. Okay, so get it straight,
well, I
y'all.
don't know. I
It's
ain't part of this
purr.
generation.
But yeah, so that's always intrigued me. And don't get me wrong, I love that like it didn't phase you, but you know, when I was growing up, like it would very much be like, are you a boy, are you a girl, etc. But then it never clicked to me, like I never got that question in my own household. Like even with my parents and like my grandparents and stuff and my sister, like there was never a question of like, are you a boy or a girl? It was like, oh, you know, she likes to wear boy clothes, she likes to wear loose clothes, etc. So I didn't really think about that, but I'm grateful that in my own household, I was able to be myself, even though I was still trying to figure out my own identity. So, but yeah, so transitioning on to like me coming out as bi. I think I had talked about this when I first came out, is I did come out as bi because I felt like it was safer.
Yeah, like a comfort area.
Come out as bi, right? It would be more accepted versus me saying, hey, I'm a lesbian.
Trendy.
Yeah, it was a trend though, because all the girls in high school and middle school remember we talked about this, they were all bisexual, but when it came down to the bedroom, it showed you if you really down or not, you know.
I just feel like our generation was very horny.
Yeah, a bunch of horn dogs, like the
That
weenies.
just took a turn.
The weenies that go in
Just
Kayla's.
to be honest,
We're still horn dogs, just saying.
everyone was curious.
Speak for yourself, and we're gonna go back into.
Girl, you married. I hope you a horn dog. The and also make me an auntie, so please be a horn dog.
Oh my god!
She had to insert that,
Yes,
of course.
you did. I can't believe you said that here.
Please emphasize on that.
Said
Okay.
that in every event. Someone's baby shower and be like, "Okay, now your turn." And I'm
I
like,
should just get
"Don't
a
take
shirt.
it," you know?
I should get a shirt that says auntie with a big old question mark. And just like, when that shit gonna happen? You feel me? So another thing. That was so funny. And I didn't expect for her to witness this, but she actually witnessed
Oh my god! Are
Me
you talking about the?
me kissing a girl.
Oh,
When
okay.
was this?
Let me tell you. Okay, so we worked at this
It's like
park
2012.
together, and I was in my Nissan Sentra. Okay, I'm driving them right, and they're both in the back, and I'm driving, and I see my rear view mirror like they kiss, and I just felt like, oh, I was like, what did I just see?
And I was like,
Because I never seen it, so I was just like, oh my god, she just kissed me. But like, I'm keeping my composure, driving in my Nissan Sentra, dropping people off. But like, she did, and I was like,
and you know me, I was all macking this shit. I didn't realize my sister was looking at me.
well, I'm driving, and you're clearly sitting in the center. But like,
You know when you think you're slick and you're like, oh yeah, they ain't gonna notice. They ain't gonna notice.
Oh
Yeah,
my
she noticed,
gosh.
bro.
it was, yeah.
She
That's the first
noticed.
time I experienced like her even like get intimate, like let alone hold someone's hand or anything. Like it went straight
Right.
to the kiss. Like she didn't even like hold the hand. You know what I mean?
Dang.
Yeah.
You've
You
been
didn't
a
even
match
give me a-
since forever ago.
You did not give me even
Bitch.
like a preview. She was like, "Here, this is what it's gonna be like."
You get the whole shebang. Boom.
Wait, so I'm sorry if you said this right, but did you explain how you felt when she told your best friend first?
Oh,
Like,
that's a
yeah,
good
I mean,
question.
I was, of course, I was upset,
yeah,
but then,
I'd be pissed.
yeah, I was like, "How come you didn't tell me first?"
Why the
like,
fuck
Scorpio.
not?
Why?
Oh, I forgot.
Oh,
We
you're
didn't talk about
between
your sign.
Scorpio?
I'm in between two motherfucking Scorpios,
Well,
and I'm a
yeah.
Cancer, so
Yes.
it's waters.
Get her ass, sis.
Yeah, drown her.
Wow, drowning the pussy.
Whoa!
Oh, what the heck? First
is
of all,
this conversation
she has
about
not been this very explicit. Okay?
Yeah, especially when I'm here, you're
know,
getting too comfortable.
No filter, y'all. No,
No,
filter.
let's bleep that out.
We're living a different lifestyle now.
Okay, so yeah, so
Okay,
you were
anyways.
pissed off,
I was pissed because I was like, "How come you didn't feel comfortable coming to me?"
right?
But then again, like she said, my sister said, like we were close, but not close where it was like comfortable to talk to each
Yeah,
other about
yeah.
that. Like I feel like we're on a different level now.
Mhm.
But like during that time, it was like she was transitioning, trying to figure out like I want to be girly,
Right,
and
right.
and then I'm just being the oldest sister, trying to make sure my parents are happy and everyone's
Mm-hmm.
good, and just making sure we're all covered and like education wise and stuff. So it didn't really like occur, but yeah, so.
Yeah, so that is a good transition into kind of like what I wanted to get into was like, there's one thing of being the older sibling and having like that responsibility over your shoulder. And I know that's
Yeah.
one thing that like my sister,
Mm-hmm.
I witnessed her go through it, and she's done nothing but hold it down for me and my brother. But, when did you started getting into conversations with either mom or dad about like who I am and how I am and all that? And like, what was that like starting off for you?
I mean, when I found out, like, with dad, I didn't. Like, dad is just, he's dad. Like, that's going to be a hard shell to break. But with mom, like, I watched the Indian movie with my mom, and that movie was like, this girl was coming out, like, to her family. But she literally, like, explained it. She did a performance on stage, and she's, like, in a box. And she's, like, explaining, like, I'm in this box that can't come out. And, like, my mom was, like, watching it with me, and she was getting emotional. Just like, I was like, see, mom, like, imagine you like getting forced to marry a girl, but that's not something you're attracted to, or you want a partnership with. So how does that make you feel? Like, no, I wouldn't do that. Exactly. So like I would be like, well, Omni doesn't want to do that. Like you can't force her to marry a guy. That's just not something she's attracted to. Like how do you put someone in that kind of situation. And so I would put like little seeds throughout, like we'll talk about it here and there. And like, she's like, why are people doing this? I'll talk about pride, like slow. It took years, like for me to just like slowly have that conversation with her to be able to accept. I'm like, it's just, and then you go into like the religious aspect of it. Like that's where she connects. I'm like, well, God made this world, right? You believe in that. Well, then why did God do that? So you're saying he made a mistake? You know what I mean? Like, why are people that way? You will never know, right? So who are we to judge? At the end of the day, we're no one to judge, right? If God forgives, you forgive too, and you move forward. And of course, it's your child. You're thinking about like Indian society and like, what are people? It's always the phrase, what are people gonna say? People don't care. People just like to talk, right?
Always.
They're not gonna pay your bills. They don't care if something happens. They'll show up in, you know, your darkest
That
times and
part.
stuff, but not in like your
Facts.
happiness, right? And so I always told my parents this. I'm like, look, if you're accepting her and you're just happy as she is, no one's gonna say anything. Like family won't say anything. But if you're gonna sit there and be like, oh my God, why is she like that? I hate that. Then they're gonna find that as a way to get in and just add more fuel to the fire, right? And that's what I was trying to explain to her. I was like, okay, you're upset. You don't accept it. That's fine, but don't show it to the world.
Right.
Like my mom always says, keep family things within family. I was like, you keep how you really feel inside. And when we're outside, you know, don't let anybody know, because once someone sees that, someone's just going to get in and try to ruin it. And it's something that we're trying to like build already. I don't want anyone to come break it.
Yeah. Damn, that's real.
That's deep.
That's real. Once there's a little crack in the foundation, it's true. Like people truly like, they do prey on your downfall. And like anytime you're vulnerable and you're at a bad space, they'll just add to it. And that's when they really show up, right? Those people for real show up out of the blue because you're going through something tough. You're having a hard time in your life, and they just kind of want to understand it so it makes them feel better in a way, right? And like, it's, you know, it's like what she said. Like I later on had a conversation with even my dad and my mom of like, look, I have my shit together, and I'm not saying, and I don't like to judge people, right? To each their own and to everyone's path. But if you're looking at like the logistics, because that's what Indian people do, I got my fucking master's. I have a good job. I have a good kind of like path ahead of me. I'm pretty like street and book smart. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not stupid. The only thing people could really judge me is that I look mask presenting and that I am with a woman. But even when I'm with a woman, I mean, she bad. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't want no ugly girl. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Wait, no, on a serious note, though?
Okay, I just got to add that.
On a serious note, though, like, our cultures are the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked
For
about
sure.
that
Everything
too.
that you just said is literally what Filipinos be thinking, like, for real. Because they be thinking that you're automatic failure.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
You're gonna fail.
Oh, yeah.
Because
What are
you're
you
not
gonna
have
do in
kids
life?
naturally. You're not gonna do this.
That's exactly what comes up. Like, well, how can you have kids? There's people that are heterosexual and they're husband and wife, and they can't even have
correct.
kids. And they have to go
Facts.
through IVF. They have to do different ways, and that's okay.
Facts.
But if two women are together or two men are together, they can't do it that way. It's not right, because well, you can't have it naturally anyways. No, sometimes God just doesn't give it, or you're not able to have it naturally. You have to figure out other ways. We don't judge them, so who
That
are we to judge
part.
other people, right? It just doesn't make any sense.
That part. And that's
It
one thing
doesn't.
I learned. Like, you know, we believe in God, right? Whatever your higher power is, whatever you believe in, like, it's your path and your destiny. It's the higher power's will. Whatever that is, you know, accept what is. If you try to dwell on things that you can't change and you're trying to make everybody else happy, at the end of the day, you're going to be unhappy with yourself because you're trying to please everyone and they mamas.
That part.
And that's not possible. So, but no, I mean, the more conversations, Kayla, we've had, the more conversations I had with like Marilis and also the girls in the book club, it's like the Filipino culture and the Punjabi culture is very similar in that aspect as far as like the pressure and everything else that kind of revolves around it. Since day one, since you're kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's an expectation on you. So
It's society. It's not even it's not even your parents. It's
Yeah.
just like, what are people gonna think? How are you gonna approach in the world? What face how could we go out there being proud?
Exactly.
You know
It's
what I mean?
unfortunate, but I think that's where our generation coming in and our kids is where we're
breaking
gonna
that.
break all that traumatic ass shit of like, we don't need to put all this pressure on kids. We need to allow the kid to be a kid at a young age. And that's one thing like we had talked about is like, you know, trying to understand your identity at a young age, you lose your childhood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why growing up, I was so distant from my family, and me and my sister didn't have a connection is because I was so lost in my own identity that I was even scared to one, comprehend what's going on with me and who I am, but two, it's like, how do I tell my family? Like, how do I make that connection? So I think in my mindset, it was like, the more I distance myself, the more I'm protecting myself, because if the time came and like, what if she didn't accept me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's my sister. Like, how would that be for me? So I think, again, the more I'm reflecting back and like even in therapy, my therapist was like, everything connects to your childhood. Like everything you do now is related to your actions and your trauma in childhood. And the more I'm looking back, I'm like, damn, like, if I could just go back and give little me a hug, you feel me? Because it's like you go through some tough things and you don't realize it as a child. It's sad because it takes away your youth as a kid. Definitely does.
100%.
You know, transitioning over to like me telling my parents, which,
oh God,
damn. I mean, okay, so when I first moved out, I didn't come out to my parents. I moved out when I was 23, 24.
I think so, yeah.
And I moved in with my ex at the time. And, you know, I left, but I didn't tell them I was gay because I wasn't ready to lose them. And I wasn't ready to come out myself. And on top of that, it was even traumatic for me to leave like that because in our culture, Indian women only leave the house when they're married. So for me to leave unmarried and I didn't go far. I mean, I think I went to Palo Alto or something. It was like a big deal. So how was that for you? Like,
with your first move?
Yeah. Like, how was mom and dad? Again, we never really talked about this stuff.
No, I mean, it was me trying to figure out, you know, you didn't come out, so it wasn't like a big pressure that way, but it was like, oh my gosh, she moved out. What is she doing? She's just wasting her money. She could, you know, the main thing for them is like, you're wasting your money. Just stay here. You could save up on money and stuff. But the thing is, you save up on money and stuff, but then that control, that independence is gone, right? So you got to figure out, what do you want? You want your independence, or you want to just, you know, live there rent free and like be suppressed? Right? And it's always a hard decision, right? When it comes to that. And then one thing, you know, transitioning into just parents, like they bring you into this world and you don't ask to be brought. And it's just like pressure. Like, I brought you in this world. You should be doing X, Y, Z. But it's like, no, you brought me in this world. I'm my own human. I have my own experience. I'm exposed to different things. Like that pressure, that trauma that's put on, like it's a lot, especially on top of that when you're trying to come out. Just a mixture of so much. You just don't, as a kid, you don't even know where to go and how to handle that. That's the first one wasn't too bad. Just kind of explain to them. Of course, every day they would bring it up. This, and then you just have the conversation and like, you know, mitigate it. But like,
the second one,
I think I came back from Vegas. I was like, wait till I come back from Vegas before you rip the Band-Aid.
Yeah, so, you know, me and you went back and forth a few times. Like, I think there was times where I was ready to come out, but I was also taking in consideration how it's going to affect, like, my sister at the end of the day, because she was the one holding it down at the house. And I really am grateful for you. I don't know if I tell you that enough, but, like, I don't know what
Say it with your chest. Say it loud.
Say it so I can hear. The mic can't hear that.
I hate her. She sucks. She's the worst. No, I'm just playing. No, for real. There's any sister I ever asked for. I mean, God gave me the perfect one and then some. Like, for real. Like,
are we getting sent?
I'm gonna make sure there's captions when she says that.
Give me what's that? Love is Blind? Or no, yeah, give me the teardrops.
Oh no.
She's the greatest sister ever.
Say it.
No, she really is though. But, you know, looking back, like my entire journey, it hasn't been perfect and it hasn't been easy, but like, I don't know where it would be where it's at today if it wasn't for my sister's support. Like, you know, she has taken on so much, and, you know, I know she has some things on her own that she's like working through. Like, it brings a heaviness to your chest, just one, being the oldest, and two, having to like support your younger sibling that's the complete black sheep of the entire family. I can only imagine all the pressure. Like, for real, bro.
She did everything, okay? We're talking about she got her sleeve done on her. That, okay? Then she went to Vegas with the basketball crew with mom and then drank with the coaches and got caught. She did everything. Everything possible.
Actually, you know, I found the letter the other day. I got suspended for 3 days and I got kicked off as the team captain. Yeah.
You never told me that.
I'm here to expose.
Hold on.
You got suspended in high school?
Can you please cut this? Yeah. My senior year too.
She did everything, so I would always be there like,
I smoked weed.
Oh, when I found out, I cried. I was like, what do you mean you're were drunk?
Yeah,
As a kid, like, you're just like, what?
She was literally crying in the
like,
car,
why are you
and I was
doing that?
like,
And then, like, for me being the eldest,
oh
it's just
my
like
God.
pressure,
Yeah.
pressure, and it just kept building up, and
I
I'm
felt-
just like, oh my God, like, how am I gonna like? I have to be like perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I have to be that perfect child. Otherwise, like, it's just gonna be all trauma on her. So I want to be perfect so I could just shift the gear and stuff. But it's a lot to take on, right?
That
to just
is
make
a lot, girl.
To make sure
You better
she's
give
good.
her your
I think
love
I need
and
some therapy. Okay.
Give her all the flowers, y'all. Giving all the flowers to my sis. To my sis. But yeah, no, like, I really was like the true black sheep of the family. Like, she said, I got the tattoo first, then she did it. I think I got the cell phone first.
Okay,
and
let's
then
talk
she
about
got
cell
one.
phones. So I got a flip phone Nokia, okay? No texting, right? My sister gets a phone,
I got a
a
Sony,
nice phone,
Sony
and
flip
she gets
phone.
texting. Because of her, I get texting.
Yeah.
I was like, I can never win. Like, I was like, can I have texting? No, she got.
I
she's
really
like
be
15.
testing the waters.
She got text. She's like, I'm gonna get it. And they're paying for it, right? Mind you, none of us are
Yeah,
paying.
yeah.
And she gets it, and then I get it because of her.
I just added to the plan.
Yeah, she just added it to the plan.
Honestly, okay, I've been a black sheep since day one. Like, remember when I ordered that cheese pizza in kindergarten?
Oh yeah.
I literally.
Oh, it was only my grandma at home. She called Domino's and she ordered it and came home.
But you know when you get those little, back in the days, they used to put the little flyers of pizza on the doorknob?
She just called them. I wanted a pizza, cheese pizza. Can you deliver it? Like,
No, who paid for it?
that's the thing. My parents did, but my grandma didn't speak English, and she's like trying to figure out like what's going on.
Oh my
So
god.
she's been doing this.
So they took the pizza, and my parents were like, your punishment is you gotta eat this whole pizza. And I was like,
Okay.
okay. I was like, okay, Indian parents that don't know grounding.
Wait, yeah, so you didn't even get grounded either. I mean, not
We've
saying that
never
you did
been.
bad
No,
things. but-
grounded.
She did some bad things too, but we won't
No,
talk
I
about
didn't do
it.
nothing bad.
We
I
won't
was
talk
always
about it
the
on
perfect-
here.
perfect
Okay,
child.
we won't talk about it on here.
Anyway. But like, no, it was always like they wouldn't ground us, but we would
Yeah.
always like get yelled at, or I got hit in the ankles. Sorry,
Yeah.
Mom.
Oh, we got.
Nah, I believe that.
But it's okay. You would be like, no, don't hit me.
We
And then
all
your
got-
ankles are free. That's okay.
Yeah.
She just needs a spot. But I mean, it made me who I mean, I don't say beating makes you who you are, but like
it does shape you, though.
but it shapes you to
we
be.
know how their kids are gonna be.
It shapes you. It
Mm.
shapes you. I'm not gonna
I'm
beat
just
them, but you
saying.
need to have that firmness so they understand. Like, I think from our parents, we learned a lot. Like how to be respectful, call
We did.
everyone by the appropriate names, like
Yeah.
not just auntie, uncle, but like in our
Yeah.
language. Who are they? How are they related to us? Saying hi to everyone.
Absolutely.
Like we greet
Yeah,
everyone.
saying hi to everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Greeting
I'm
everyone. My
being
mom and I went.
respectful.
We
You
go
call
to every
all your
event.
aunties and uncles by their first name?
No,
No.
we would call them like relationships.
Like
in our community.
relationships. Like if they're our dad's younger cousin, then there's a different way in our language you say it. Or our dad's older brother, he's called something different. And my
Yep.
mom's younger, like
Golly.
Yeah.
But I mean, we knew it because my mom always was like, "This is who this is, and this is who
Yeah.
this is," and that's how you say it with respect.
I don't know.
Yeah.
My mom would just be like, say hi to your auntie and uncle. I'd be like, hello.
You see me? I'm here.
I don't know what you are, but hello. Hey, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was just such a different upbringing for both of us. And I think, we started getting closer, I think, after high school.
After high school, we
I would
got
say.
closer, yeah. Because in high school, before that, she was just like a rebel. And I was just like, can you stop?
And she was a little bee.
No, I was a people pleaser. So I
Yeah, no,
my
she was a
parents.
parent pleaser.
Yeah,
she
there you go.
was.
Parent
She was a
pleaser.
parent
I was just making
pleaser.
sure they were okay. Yeah, no, don't worry. I mean, like,
Did you hate it though?
I even lied about going to the movies 9th grade. I'm not gonna lie. I got caught. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be right back. My mom's like, where you at? And she found me at Century 25 in Union City. But I got caught, so I was like, forget this. I ain't lying. I'm getting caught. Yeah, it was just so bad.
Man.
Okay, but can I ask you this? Because, like, I have the utmost love and respect for you, but I also, I hurt for you.
I mean, it sucks.
Because even, so she tried to play basketball
Oh, yeah.
in 8th
I
grade.
couldn't.
And she was good.
Yeah, I was good.
And my
You mean
parents-
mom and dad wouldn't let
because
you?
they don't want to wear
wouldn't.
shorts.
Yeah. And then when I played basketball, I had to hide my freshman year. Or my middle school, they didn't know, but freshman year, I had to hide for tryouts, and then they found out.
But that's one thing I told Omni I admire about her. I'm like, dude, you just went for it. You didn't care. You thought about yourself.
Yeah.
Like the selfish side, which is not always bad, being
Yeah.
selfish, but like
Yeah.
having that drive, like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. Like, that's what I learned from her. Like, no, I'm going to
Yeah.
do it. Because I'm always like, okay, no. Okay, no. Okay, no. Like,
Yeah.
I won't do it. I won't do it. And I kind of I love basketball. I used to play it when I was like younger, and I wanted to go into high school, but I couldn't do middle school either. Like I wanted to play. I think I played for a little bit, but like they weren't really supportive. But then high school was like, no.
Yeah.
Because you're wearing shorts.
You a baller in my book.
It's okay. When we do a concept, we're not going to drop it right now.
We do.
You going to get invited. So, and you're a power lifter now. So fuck it. Full circle. You feel me? There's a full circle moment. But no, I would say like now I see you, actually not now, but like in the past between like 5 to 7 years, she's been putting herself first. And I love that about you. And I've always told her like,
but sometimes it will revert back because it's almost like, you get off that high of the drug and then you come back to it and you're like, oh, I'm just going to please everyone. Let me just go back to it. So you got to always tell yourself like, no, keep pushing.
Yeah.
And you have to like love yourself first, right? Before anything, before even loving anyone else or just anything, if you don't love yourself, you're just going to be miserable. You're going to put that out on other people. You're going to project it. Like, so it's so important. A lot of people don't think about that. And that's what I learned. Like I was just pleasing other people and it was just like, you're not even happy.
Yeah.
Like, how do you become happy first? Because then as you grow older, you're just going to be miserable. I don't want to be that miserable old person. Like, move your car, get out of my way. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that person. So
okay. No. Go ahead. Continue what you were going to say.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's who I don't want to be. So I'm always like, okay, now I've learned loving myself. And even her, like, look at her. I told her, I was like, once you start loving yourself, after all the relationship we went to, I was like, it's going to change your life. In the moment, she was like, yeah. I was like, once you start taking care of your health, your mind.
Both of them were headbutting about my past. Like, bitch,
but
wake
look, I'm just
up.
telling you, it was holding you down. But look at you now, she's glowing.
Yeah.
You're happy.
Love
but the thing is, you're happy without the other partner. Like, you want the other person to add,
Voldemort,
not subtract. Like, you should be happy and the other person should just be bringing it.
It shouldn't just be weighing you down.
It shouldn't be like someone just subtracting and you're unhappy, this person makes me happy. It should be like, I'm happy, I love you, you make me happy, let's add to this happiness.
Nikki, did you hear that?
Facts. Nikki. I
didn't say nothing. I'm over here drinking my coffee.
Okay, wait, I have a question for you, sis. Since we're talking about, exes, past life.
Oh, God.
Did you ever introduce her to your very first girlfriend? No.
Oh. Shit.
Can I ask, what was your first thoughts?
She's like, damn, my sister pulled a baddie.
No, I mean, I was still getting used to
True.
her being with someone.
Okay.
So it was new for me. Like, it wasn't even I wasn't even looking like, are they happy? It was just me trying to
focus
grasp it in. Like, okay, this is how it's gonna be. This is how it is with a girl. Like, trying to just see them dynamics. Like, being like, I was just observing. I wasn't like, oh yeah, what kind of partner do you have? Because I didn't even get to that mindset yet. It was more so like, okay, I haven't seen two females together. How does that look? Okay,
yeah.
What is the dynamics like? Right, you're just watching. Like, I didn't have really too much to say.
Yeah,
of course you'll vent, like, oh my God, she did this or whatever the case might be. But that's just normal. I didn't see it as like, oh, is it because it's a female? It was more so like relationship. Let's look at it as a relationship.
But I think what also is different at that time is that I wasn't fully mass presenting. I still had my long hair.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We gotta talk about your hair.
How did you feel about that?
2015.
Yeah, did you surprise her?
I know. I think you knew I was gonna do it, right?
I knew she was gonna do it,
Yeah.
and honestly, it looked really good on her.
Yeah.
But my mom,
oh yeah,
she said, keep that beanie on. Don't ever walk around
yeah,
this house without the beanie.
Nightmare.
So she had this gray beanie on the whole time. She's like, don't take it off. I was like, because it wasn't about her cutting her short hair or looking masculine. My mom just loved long hair.
Yeah.
And she's like, why did you cut all your long hair? It's so like, even me, like, I always had long hair. One time in 6th grade, like, I got a layers. She was pissed.
She was pissed.
Because she just loves long hair. Like, why are you cutting it? So, and that's one thing about her. So that was, I think, mostly why she still says it till this day. Like, when you gonna grow your hair?
Like, just grow it like right here.
Yeah. Or she'll be like, the day you grow your hair, I'll do this or something.
And
she'll mess with her. And I'm like, Mom, she's just not. And like, sometimes that's where I come in and I'm like, look, it's just not gonna happen. So why do you keep asking? Like, you keep wasting your energy asking her, like, the result is the same.
So yeah, you definitely met my first girlfriend and then you met all them afterwards.
Let's go back to talking about when you came out and left.
Yes, I was 26 years old, y'all. That was crazy. And
were you still at home, sis?
She was in the same room.
I never left till I got married, so I just recently left my parents' home.
And she followed the tradition.
Punjabi gal.
Got it.
Traditional,
Love it. I'm here for it. she was in the room when I came out to my
It was
mom.
downstairs.
It was downstairs in the living room. And I think
mind you, I came from Vegas and
she did.
I just started talking to my husband recently, right? So we're in that honeymoon stage, like, ooh, you know, blue hair, look good. And she's like, I didn't do it today. I was like, what? I was like, oh.
I was like, let me ruin
I was like, I'm not ready.
Well, damn.
I was like, I'm not ready, man. I just, went with my best friend and we had a good time. Now I have to like figure this out because like I didn't know how was it gonna go. Of course, it wasn't gonna be like a good outcome, but how bad was it gonna be? I had no idea. Yeah. So like I was just planning for the worst. I'm like, all right, just brace yourself.
Yeah. So I mean, I knew kind of like mom's reaction. Mom thought I was talking about being a trans. She was in the same room and I was trying so hard not to laugh. Remember?
Yeah. It was. Well, she came out and my mom was like, the doctor said you're a boy.
Oh my God. Yeah.
No, the doctor said I'm a girl.
No, the doctor said you're a girl, right? No, but that's how it went. But
yeah,
it
no,
was just,
right, yeah.
But it was two things. It was funny, right? Because you're just like, mom. But then you also thought like, wow, like, you don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Of course you weren't raised that way or it was never exposed or anything to you. So it just made me think like, oh my God, like, you don't know about it. So that's why you thought that. Because she was just confused herself, right? Because like, she was just like, okay, you're dressing like a boy. Yep. You're very mass representing and stuff. So she's like looking at it like, what? I don't get it. I'm confused, right? So it was a moment of like seriousness. She's coming out. She says that. And I'm like, Mom. I'm like, no. And then I try to explain to her because then again, like I didn't go into depth like this is transgender. This is what this is. Like I was just trying to explain to her two girls being together. And that's the seeds I planted. Not like, okay, well, other ways and other.
Basically other ways of love. Yeah.
But they've questioned you, right? Like before I came out when I was with my last ex at the time, they questioned, right?
They asked like, who is that? I'm like, oh, it's just her friend.
Yeah. Right? And they asked like if we're more than friends.
Yeah,
right?
they'll bring them, but I didn't
stuff.
really, because it's not my position to say, right? When you're ready to say it's on you. Yeah. But I'm gonna hold it down and just like, play bluff the whole time, right?
Did when I had came out and I moved out, did Dad ever come to you for anything or clarity or anything like that?
Not clarity. It was just anger, like confusion. Very disconnect. Like, why would she do that? Why did we have her? Like, it was just a lot. Like, they were just like, pouring out everything they had to say. And it was hurtful things, right? But it was just like their initial reaction, like, what's going on? And then she leaves. Like, that was the main thing. Like, you're leaving again and you came out and then you're leaving. Like, it wasn't like, she literally was like, I'm lesbian, I like girls, blah, blah, blah. And she just leaves. Like, literally leaves.
Literally.
And I'm over there sitting like, okay, now what am I supposed to do? Like, you have Harry, our little brother, watching. Like, he's young. And then I have my parents who are just like, so I had to make sure, like, they were good. And, like, we had these conversations. Like, my mom was just bawling. Like,
why did you leave? Because you couldn't take it?
She didn't know, right?
Because, I didn't know what their reaction would be. I didn't want to be living in that energy, honestly. Because it was affecting me already so much mentally that it's like what she said. When you live with them, it's like they have that control. Right? Yeah, like you're under their roof. So like they do have a control to a certain extent. So for me, it was like, let me just remove myself from the entire scenario and just leave.
And that's one thing Mom said too. She's like, well, why are you leaving though?
Yeah.
And she's like, I just can't be here. Like I came out, I'm out. That's why my mom was like trying to process two things. Like, you came out and like, you're leaving again? Like, what's happening? Why are you leaving? No one told you to leave.
Yeah.
But it was more so of her, like, I don't want to deal with what's to come. Like, I just want to get out of the situation. And I understand. At the moment, I was just like, oh my God, like, you're leaving. Maybe you shouldn't. But then again, she's fighting her own battle, right?
Yep.
And like, you're fighting your own battle coming out and then fighting a battle with the parents. It's going to be draining. Like, it's just double.
It's a lot.
Trauma. So that's where I came in and just honestly, like, slowly, like, that's just how it is. The conversations we had were like, obviously not pleasant, but it was just like trying to figure out and just giving them that reinsurance. Like, she left because you wouldn't accept her. What's the point of her staying? If you're not going to accept her as your kid, like, it's better to just let her go and let her do her thing. Yeah. She has a good job. She's independent. Like, why? But then again, it's for them, it's like a loss of a child. Like, why is she leaving? Yeah. And not being able to like even get closure, and I think now, like, there's closure.
Oh, yeah.
It's like on a different level. Like, even if though our dad is not, he's still not fully acceptance, and he'll have like why or this, and he'll go back, but that's just how he is, right?
Yeah.
And it's gonna be hard to break that shell. Like, we've broken a little bit of it, but it's just gonna be very hard, and we're working at it, right? And trying to explain to him, but like, it's hard. But then he comes around, like, we go to parties, everything, like, we're dancing, having a good time, enjoying ourselves. But like, my dad just likes to make side comments here and there, and like, it just like, you just learn. It's like bantering.
Yeah, it really
it's banter,
is.
but then you're just kind of like, oh, I'm just gonna let it slide. Kind of.
It is hard for their generation though, because imagine you're, first coming into
A whole new country.
U.S. Yeah, and you're having to learn everything on your own.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then
Don't know English, nothing,
nothing.
jobs.
Trying to understand, trying to compare things to how your lifestyle was back in India, back in hometown, right?
For sure.
That's kind of I could kind of relate to that because it's kind of like what I try to understand based off how my grandparents were. They were very not vocal about me coming out.
Yeah.
I had to deal with a lot of action.
Yeah.
Really?
If that makes sense. And so, yeah, and it's weird because now they're total 360 now. Because
that's amazing. Yeah, I was gonna say, how are they now?
Yeah.
And how are
they're very,
now?
they love Amar. I remember this.
Hey, shout
so
out to Kayla's second wifey because I'm her first.
Eventually we'll talk about this. But I remember we had brunch with my grandparents. This is something that we do now that I live over here. And when we go home, we'll just take them out, go take them out to eat, whatever. And my grandfather, this is before, he had dealing with what he's dealing right now. But he literally just spilled out was all, you and Amarilis, you guys love each other. And it was he's all you love your wife. You guys are going to be good. You're going to have a healthy relationship, all this stuff. And I was I'm over here mid eating in my scrambled eggs. I was all, where is this coming from?
And if you know how Kayla eats,
you know how I enjoy my food. Okay.
So you had to stop and was like, what? Hold up.
So I told her, I'm hearing what you guys have to say about your parents. That's a real thing, man. People don't understand from other cultures. Y'all don't know. It's really challenging for them. I'm sure.
That's so beautiful. Your grandpa said that though. It
was out of nowhere, bro. And mind you, he's all
all
trying to tell me this while he's all trying to sip his coffee and everything. I'm like, where's this coming from?
But the feeling. Let's talk about the feeling of relief when they give you that reassurance. You're kind of like, that's just all I wanted. I don't want anything else. Can we just be normal? If I was with, a man or anything, it would have been the same. Why can't I get the same love? And it's when they accept you and they're slowly opening the show, it's just a sense of oh God,
that's all you ask for.
That's it.
I believe
I'm a good person. You're a good person. We're family. We love each other. We just want to be accepted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That part though, the character, I think, like you mentioned, being a good person in general just speaks so much volume in itself. And that's why when you are a kind, good, giving person, but you have things that aren't universally accepted, but you're just I just want you to love me for who I am. It doesn't matter how I am, what I look like, etc., but just who I am on the inside, and just that sigh of relief, that reassurance, it's kind of like what your grandpa said. It's like a virtual, long hug he's giving you of I love you guys together, and for somebody to say that 2 generations ahead of you, it speaks so much volume. So that's amazing. That just reminds me of so our grandma passed away in 2016, and that was a huge impact for me and my sister and our entire family. And those are one of the reasons why I didn't come out, is because I was trying to understand how would my grandma take this and how would I process that, because she lived with us, right? So those are one of many other reasons why I sort of delayed me coming out. And a few years back, when I was still with my ex at the time, I had a dream, and my grandma came into my dream, and she literally just gave me the biggest hug, and she was like, I love you for who you are. I accept you.
Yeah.
And in that dream, granted, I was my ex was there and so was her family, but it was our families coming together.
Yeah.
Right. So I literally woke up the next morning and I went for a walk with Zeke, and I was just literally bawling. I was like, well, this is all I ever wanted. It was just a hug.
Yeah.
Just it. No, nothing more, nothing less. Just wanting to feel loved and accepted. Because again, growing up, it's what I was lacking, and I think I craved it. I just want to feel accepted. I just want to feel loved by my parents. And it stems from a therapy lesson from my childhood trauma leading to today, and how I engage with people, my relationships with people. And so I try to be very mindful and cognizant of how I go about things, because it's a real thing on that childhood trauma reflecting your actions today. So no, that's amazing. And coming out was just a shift in itself. But like we talked about, it's 360 now. Me and my dad, he never questions you know, I am how I am in front of the camera is how I am with him. I have the short
Yeah.
hair, the clothes, I wear my hat, whatever. He doesn't say anything. He'll make comments here and there, but I think that's his way of accepting and coping, if
Yeah.
you will. And so he doesn't say anything like spiteful or bitter. He'll just like make a comment about like, you know, when am I gonna grow my hair out? When are you gonna get married?
And then I'm like, and then you know, when my dad says that, I'm like, you know, she's gonna marry a girl. I was like, oh.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm like, so why are you asking that question? Like,
Right.
you know, and I try to have those conversations. I'm like, then why are you asking? That's reality. I know it hurts you, but it's
Yeah.
the truth, right? You keep bringing it up, you're hurting yourself because you're not ready to accept it.
Right.
You know, so it's just like he'll bring up stuff like that, but I don't think he means ill. It's just like he's trying to accept like the fact that it's true, and like again, how are people gonna take it? What it's just like something that it's engraved in their heads, and you just can't get it out. No matter what you say, what are people gonna say? What are people gonna say? And it's like just stuck there. But like, you know, most of the family's aware.
Everyone, if y'all watching this podcast, you know.
Now you know.
And if you don't know,
Now
I'm
you
concerned
know.
for you. Is it not obvious?
But like our family knows, right? My
Yeah.
dad's side, and it's like it's obvious, and it's just love and
Oh yeah,
acceptance.
so much love,
And
from
it's just
my
like
dad's
so
side.
much love from our dad's side. Like it's just they know, and they're like, we've been knowing. Like
Yeah.
you don't need to like tell us. Like we know, and like just full acceptance. But it just feels so good,
Yeah.
right?
It
Like it's
does.
just like you don't have to. Because imagine like you already have to explain to your parents. Now you have to explain to them. But I think the fact that my parents don't show it,
Yeah,
that it bothers them or something, like that played a role. Because if they showed it was bothering them and they didn't like talk to my sister and stuff, and it was obvious in family, oh, someone's gonna dive in and be like, so I heard.
yeah. Like,
What's going on, or what is she do? You know,
Yeah.
and then they'll just like, you know, put fuel to
That's
the fire.
like you mentioned
Right,
that crack.
right.
Yeah, so there is
Yeah.
no crack. You know,
Yeah,
I'm gonna make sure there's no crack. I'm making sure there is none.
She gonna find everybody. No, I'm just like, we
When
ain't find
that
nobody.
when that day comes, what do you
What day?
think
When I get married,
when you get married? Like, what do you
wedding
think?
bells. Cue the wedding bells. When am I getting married, Kayla? When are we getting married?
You can shut up. So
Wink,
when
wink.
do you think?
That's what Kayla's hinting. She
Like-
just gave me a ring. Let me put it to the right finger. It's this side. Ring, y'all.
No, let's flex. Let's flex Sis's ring. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
she's the one that got married. Yes,
Oh.
sir. How you figure both of our first two guests got the ring on?
And where are we at? We lacking right now.
Okay.
We deserve a ring. Okay.
And Sis,
Y'all
of
ain't doing it
course,
right.
Sis, of course, had the traditional wedding. Are you gonna have that?
She
same?
did. I do. I would love to have a traditional wedding. I want like a mesh. So, if I'm candidly speaking, I don't know if we can go to a temple, a Sikh temple, and I'm okay with that. I'm not.
They won't.
opposed
Like
to
it's
it.
just something.
They won't. Yeah.
And that's a topic I don't even want to really get into because
Yeah.
when it comes to religion, it's meant to keep you together, but it's always a division.
Yeah.
No matter what religion you go into.
Yeah.
So and there's, you know, we have like similar to a Bible, Guru Granth Sahib, like
Correct.
it has its own rules and regulations,
Yeah.
and it's just something, you know, it's written man and woman or whatever the case.
So one
I
thing
know, I
will
know.
say, it's not written man and woman. I have never seen like gender, but I've seen religion, like Sikh to Sikh. I've seen that.
Oh, so they don't use gender in?
They,
don't think so.
I've done my research.
Okay.
Somebody else can quote me otherwise. But what I've read is like they've never mentioned like gender. It's more religion. Like you need to marry a Sikh person.
That's very
and-
interesting.
Yeah. So it is very interesting. But, you know, going back to that question you mentioned, like I don't want to deal with the energy of people attacking something that's going to be so beautiful to me. So to me, it's like I'm okay with not having a Sikh religious wedding because there's a lot of backlash, and I just rather protect my marriage. Marriage
That
is a beautiful
part.
thing, and I don't want to get dragged around because other people have opinions. Let's just say that. I'm not gonna go on a rant.
Yeah, we don't need
here.
to go on. But one thing I do have to say is we're spiritually connected.
Oh yeah.
So at the end of the day, like we have our way of spiritually connecting through, you know, Sikhism. So we have our way of spiritually connecting through that way. That's something that no one can take from us.
Facts.
So that's something that, you know, we live by, and it just feels so good inside. And I feel like that's something our moms instilled in us. So that's something no one can
I
ever
love
take,
that.
regardless of you can't get married in that religious way.
Yeah.
And they have their own, you know, thoughts on that, and I don't want to get into it. But at the end of the day, like we know we're connected, and you know, God sees everything. So if it wasn't meant to be that way, like it's not
That
meant to be
part.
that way, but we're connected, and at the end of the day, you know, He's gonna accept everyone.
So this is where you get your wisdom from. It's not just from your brain; it's from your sister.
It's from my big old brain. No, yeah, it's for my sister. It's for my mama.
Yeah, that part, mom.
Shout out to the women. Shout out to the women in the family. But no, she's right though, and that's one thing I wanted to emphasize on is that whatever I decide to do, God's always watching, and if you're judging, God's watching. So just be careful what you say.
Look in the mirror.
You know, yeah, look in the mirror. All right, look at yourself first. But speaking of marriage, one topic that I did want to bring up was, when my sister first started getting into the journey of like settling down, getting married, we had a conversation, and I believe there was someone you were briefly talking to that it was a problem that I was a lesbian, because in our culture, I feel like when you do marry, you also marry the family.
Yep.
Yes, you marry the family. So, when she was ready to put herself out there, we did have a conversation, and I did tell her like, if me being gay isn't,
I was so pissed. She's like, if it's gonna, hinder the relationship or problem, like just don't tell them.
Just don't tell them, or like you don't have to bring me.
You
don't
have to bring me around.
Because I just wanted her to be happy. Like my sister has gone through
my
some
family
shit.
is happy, right? Like
I know.
It's a relationship between families, and for me, what was important is like if you're not gonna accept like my sister or my siblings or my parents, like what's the point? Because they're gonna be around my world. What do you mean? You thought when she told me that, I was like,
yeah.
I was like, why? She's like, I just want you to be happy, and I was like, well, I won't be happy then, because then it clearly shows. They're judging, and then in the future it shows me this. Like, what if our kids were?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
That's true.
You're just gonna be like, nah, bye. Like, no, you're gonna literally spend your whole life with this person, right? It's not like, okay, yeah, bye, we're cutting off. Like, no, it's a whole life thing, and my family and your family is gonna be a lifer thing. It's not like, all right, we're not, especially your siblings.
That part.
Yeah, facts. It was just in the moment, because I really, like she said, like I just wanted her to be happy. I wanted her to find somebody.
She was seeing me struggle.
Yeah,
because people out here are shady. So
facts. It ain't for everyone.
But don't ever settle, okay?
That part. And she didn't settle. No. She found the love of her life.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to my Jiju. Shout out to Sunny, and shout out to Unique Lifter, y'all. Tap in with your boys and your girls.
You should have worn that shirt backwards. Just kidding.
Why?
So you can show the brand.
It is right here. Look.
Yeah, but you gotta show the logo.
The name.
Oh, the name in the back. Well, put the hashtag here at Unique Lifter. But no, she found a gem. She definitely found a gem. And me and her recently had this conversation. Like, there is not one bad thing I could speak on of how he treats my sister, how he treats family and all that. Like, he is truly a gem. He has so much patience for this girl.
I'm crazy sometimes. It's okay.
She's Scorpio. Scorpios are crazy.
He is too.
He is?
Yeah, but he's a man Scorpio, and he's born in October.
Okay, now we're going into genders?
Different. Different.
Yeah, see, every time she talks about this, I'm like...
we need to bring an astrologer on here. I'm not one. I just know little bits and pieces.
We're good.
So if you're an astrologer,
he's
tap in
been
below.
Good. He's been really good. You're building your partnership and learning from each other and stuff. So,
can I ask when did you tell him about...
Like, he knew right from the jump.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I was actually...
Can't you tell? Can't you tell?
When we started dating, too, like, we're talking, she left.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So it was like in the transition, I'm meeting this new person. So he kind of went through it with me and trying to figure it out and stuff.
Yeah.
And that was one thing that just wasn't like a deal breaker or something that crossed me. He's like, okay, and...
Yeah, and his whole family, like I've never.
There's no ever question,
nervous.
or she was nervous, like, oh, they're gonna be like no, they came with full love, it was just like just a mesh, and everyone just like they have their banters, they banter all the freaking time, but like it's just love and like it's nice to see. There was never like where my sister felt like, oh, I feel uncomfortable because there was never a moment like that. Which
never.
Is
like she said, never settle, y'all.
Ever.
Found the one.
Facts. Like even, from the first time I met him to meeting his family, like it's been nothing but love. And now he's like my brother. I literally tell him, like we literally argue and talk like
all
brothers.
The time. I just sit there and be like, I'm going to let y'all hash it out. I'm going to sit over here.
Even with his sisters, like we literally argue like we're sisters.
It's so funny. It's funny. It's nice. It's really nice to see. And something I don't really talk about or show off to other people because, it's just something I want to.
It's like family
it's something I like to
moments,
keep to myself. But it's really beautiful to see like how they blend and like she could feel she could be herself.
Right.
She could wear that suit to the reception. She could wear whatever the hell she wants to wear, and no one says nothing. Like it's not even like, oh, they're like, oh, this is a nice outfit, or this looks good. Like it's never like, oh, why is she wearing
Yeah. Even in India, like when we went to India this year and we spent time with her in-laws and their family house showed nothing but love. Nothing but love. And this is like his family, his extended family, the neighbors, everybody was just showing love. And so I was like, damn, like.
It felt nice. It felt like, it wasn't really like she had to worry about like, oh, I'm like this. I'm not going to go out. Man, she's over here rolling the streets of India by herself. I got it. I know how to speak the language. And I'm looking at her like, and I'm being like, oh, this is like, be careful. Like people are, she's like, I got this. Like, I got this.
I love that.
Yeah. So it was amazing. It was. Yeah, it was just a beautiful thing to not only witness her find the love of her life and like not settling because she really didn't settle. I'm so proud of her for that.
I didn't care what age I was gonna get married. I was like, I'm not settling. It's a lifetime thing, right?
Facts.
For any relationship.
I need your mentality. Dang, can I rewind my life so I could be like, never settle, never settle.
No, but it is. But when you find your person, right, you're just like, that's my
Yeah.
person. That feels so good because it's like it's my person. Whether I'm having a good day, bad day, or I'm being ugly. Like the person is that person and it's my person. And that's when you know.
I mean, shit, I finally listened to y'all to both of these knuckleheads, so.
But you see it, like she's glowing. It's just different. She said
knuckleheads.
Trust, because
we're over here trying to give you
Scorpio knuckleheads.
You should thank us.
Knuckle one.
Look where you at.
You should be grateful.
Yeah,
thank
y'all.
You should feel blessed.
You should tell thanks to the universe.
Me. I thank myself. You know, I thank God.
Yes, sis.
Yeah, thank you. That's why you in the middle.
I'm in a fucking Scorpio sandwich. Anyways, we appreciate the love, y'all. Thank you so much for officially being our second guest here today.
Thank you, sis.
You're
amazing.
I was waiting for this moment my whole life.
She really was, y'all. She was like, wow, y'all legit up in here. Got a whole little setup and shit. You know what I'm saying?
It's legit.
You'll see it when y'all see it. But thank you so much for coming on the show. I think this is a great conversation. And I hope y'all just could learn a little bit more about not only myself and my dynamic, but also understand that if you do have a sibling out there and you're able to make some sort of relationship with them and lean on them as a support system, use that, because she has been my rock through so much and I'm so grateful for that. And I truly mean it. I don't know what my journey would look like or where I would be today if it wasn't for her support just as a heterosexual sibling, okay? A straight up ally through and through. And I'm truly just grateful for that. So thank you.
And I gotta add one more thing.
And I love you, girl.
I love you too. One more thing I have to add is like your parents, they're raised differently, different culture. They grew up differently. I understand it's hard, and I know it was hard. Just give them some grace. Like learn to work with them. And there might be moments where you might not talk, but still don't ever just be like, yeah, it's done. You gotta still continue to build that relationship because they just never knew. And it's not their fault either. And it's not your fault either. It's just the way life is. So you gotta just figure out ways to maneuver. But, you know, it shouldn't be a cutoff.
No, that's so true.
That.
They're not your enemies. They really aren't.
They just want the best for you and they're adjusting to society and, you know, how it works and a new country. So
facts. No, this is a great episode. Thank you so much again.
Of course.
Thank you to all
spreading the wisdom.
Viewers. You can catch us on YouTube, on Spotify, on Amazon, and
TikTok.
Apple Music. Oh yeah, TikTok
iHeartRadio.
too. Apple Music is just a big old
Wow,
question mark.
94.9. Is that still there? Is that still there?
Eventually, you'll catch us on the radio live at 5. You feel me? But thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank you for the continued love and support. We appreciate y'all. Les Bros and Les Sisters out.
No. Open a little bit.
Oh my God.
Leave it.
That's actually how it was.
No, it wasn't, bitch. It was open more.
That's how it was.
No,
Kayla's showing her true side. She's a little aggressive and violent.
Okay.
We see where
Is
the
this what happens behind the scenes?
workplace violence.
Wow, that's loud. Okay, I know you have a headphone that's hurting my ear.
Yeah, don't be a little bitch.
And
Nikki, leave us alone. We're recording. She said her thing says Nikki's a little bitch. We all know that. Okay? We all know that. Oh wait, I think our camera battery's gonna die. Can you be like your dog, Demure? Your dog's very demure, and you're very the bitch. No,
Oh my God. Y'all need to just get together and just hash this out on.
we should do sock and boppers, Nikki, and I just put you in the face.
Bitch, I will knock your ass out.
You might.